Everybody, welcome to today's episode of Daily Distinction. So glad you're here. I really appreciate it. And I want to start off by apologizing. When I'm sitting here doing this, I can't see what the speed is and how clear that the camera is online because all I'm seeing is just through my monitor here. So I want to apologize for how bad it was yesterday. I didn't realize that it was so pixelated, and my goodness, the fact that so many of you folks stuck with it and got through it was huge. I just couldn't believe how many people watched it. I didn't even watch, couldn't even watch myself that pixelated for that long. Don't know how we're coming through today. We have been in touch with our internet company. Shelly back in our office in Indiana has done all kinds of testing where she's running tests to see what can happen and how to make it look better. So I don't know how we're coming through or how we're making it look now, but at any rate, I'm really glad that you are here and thanks for watching. And I'm checking it out on Facebook. So it seems like we're okay so far today. So, and in fact, I've been on the phone this morning trying to order new internet service from a different supplier. So we'll see how that goes. How's your day going? It's good to have you here today, Brian. Always great to see you. Thank you. Hey, coffee heading your way as well, too, my friend. Show you my fancy Just 10 Speakers cup, and happy noon in Henderson. You betcha. And speaking of Henderson, hey, Jesse, thank you for passing that along. I appreciate that. Hey, Scott. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Shelly was running tests, and here's Shelly saying that it looks great. Shelly was running tests and saying, and she's the expert. I know nothing about this, but she was talking about what's called a bad gateway. But we have been in touch with a different internet provider, and it's significantly more expensive. But you got to do what you got to do. It's business, and what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So yes, Pam, it is Taco Tuesday today. I didn't tell Tammy about that. We got to make our plans. We have not yet been out to eat. That was one of the things that we were talking about. We got a thing from Pam, your friend as well, our mutual friends, the Roadies. They went out to dinner at Roost Chris Steakhouse. And they were talking about how good it felt to be back out. And Tammy and I were like going, that's profound, right? So we were talking about, are we ready to get back out there? I don't know. Hey, Tillian, great to hear from you. Glad it looks clear. Phil just went through the 14 days. If you're not familiar with what Phil is talking about, and at distinctionnation.com, we have a free 14-day program on creating personal distinction. And it is there for you. There's no charge. It's just sign up and go through the program. And Phil was just saying he has just finished the 14 days. And I really, really appreciate that. That's fantastic. Yeah, the UK is always hit or miss there. Paul Rosser is on here every once in a while too, Cindy. And same kind of thing. We never quite know what the connection is going to be. What we're trying to do is move from our cable provider to a fiber internet provider. Part of the difference is what they've done is to throttle us down here. And many of you I know are going through the same situation. The problem is when you throttle it down, a lot of us don't even notice the difference in the download speed because the download speed is pretty high. But our upload speed was cut by 300%. We went from like a 40 upload speed to now under 10. So it's pretty dramatic. And with the fiber, we would be able to get something like 1,000 in the upload speed. So that would really, really be cool. Curtis, hey, good to see you again. I'm glad you're back. Thank you for being here from Mesa. Yep, love some Roost Chris. That is great. Sherry, always great to see you. Thanks for being here. Holy cow, Bruce. I am in slack-jawed amazement. Ditka's closing in Chicago. Oh my gosh. That's a shocker. That kind of takes the wind out of your sails. Morton's is closing in Indianapolis. I saw that, but that's not the downtown Indianapolis steak competition is as tough as any downtown in America because you had Morton's and you had Roost Chris and on and on. And then you've got some other steakhouses. And then, of course, you've got St. Elmo's, which is just rules the roost. So, and Morton's, it was down in a basement, and it was just really dark. It was great during basketball games because you could just walk across the street to the field house. But it's a chain. It wasn't anything that unique about Morton's, particularly in the latest incarnation of Morton's. But Ditka's is so iconic there in Chicago. That's really a surprise. Pam, my personal assistant Tina, I went to Murphy's Pub House, 116th and Oleo. Yes, yummy margaritas. All right. Oh yes, the Keystone Grill in Indy. That was a fave place for me too. I get that. That's what we miss. Be interesting to know what restaurant or bar do you miss the most right now? Which one do you miss the most right now? I mean, there's that we miss getting out, but I'd be kind of curious to know of all of the restaurants that you might hit, or of all the places that you might go to, which one do you miss the most? So today we're going to talk about too, the message of today is talking about how it's becoming so impersonal in a way. We're connecting online, we're connecting virtually. My buddy Tony Alessandra sent a clipping from a story, and then my another pal Shep Hyken, followed up with some additional information. I wanted to pass it along because it's really fascinating. Amy Calvert, who's the chief executive of the Events Industry Council, which is a trade group about particularly trade shows, events and trade shows, says the impact to the event and trade show industry has been, ready for this big word? Cataclysmic. Something is really bad if you're saying that it is cataclysmic. Richard Vallister, who's the director of client relations at a meeting planning firm in Columbia, Maryland, said, no one really had this in their playbook. You can't plop and drop what you've done in person into the virtual world. Even something as simple as scheduling a presentation becomes a puzzle when taking into account the various time zones of the participants. Hey, that's true here. For many of you, I'm hitting you right smack dab in the middle of the afternoon at 3:00. For me, this is lunch hour. It's noon. But we've got Leanne gets on here occasionally, and several others from Australia. We've got Cindy, and Paul comes on from the United Kingdom. I mean, it's a totally different thing. The chief officer of distribution, digital, and revenue strategy and global sales at Marriott is a guy named Brian King, and he says folks have shifted their meetings. They've kind of moved to the back half of the year. While some events are migrating entirely to digital, many trade associations and exhibition organizers depend on revenue from live events to sustain their operations. I've been on the board of the National Safety Council, or I've been on the board of the Safety Council, but I've been on the board twice, 2 different times, separated by several years, of the National Speakers Association. And I know when I was on the board of the National Safety Council as well. So much of our revenue depended on the trade show, and depended on the convention. And you wipe those out, and what do you do? Now, many of you are not involved in the meetings industry, but it's fascinating to think about how the changes there are going to depersonalize the experience. In other words, a trade show where you're encouraged not to touch anything, and a trade show where you're encouraged not to shake anybody's hands. How different is that? A trade show that to get in, you not only have to show your badge, but they take your temperature when you walk in the room. And what's going to happen about, we've seen all this stuff about people who don't want to wear masks or that. So what happens if to get on the trade show floor, you got to wear a mask? How do you get personal with someone who half their face is covered up? It's a new world. It's very, very different. Hey, let's check out what some of the folks are saying, what they miss. Ronaldo in Indy, but Lulu, man, I loved Lulu's as well. And I saw that, not Sullivan's, gosh, Sullivan's one of my fave places, probably my fave place in Indy, but across the way over at Fleming's in Indianapolis. I see that Fleming's is not only, closed for this, but they're closing permanently there in Indy. Seven Saints in Champaign. Mike, I don't think I've ever been to Seven Saints in Champaign. My tang got tungled when I was saying that. That's a tongue twister. Seven Saints and Champagne. There you go. That's a good one, Mike. Oh, Darcy, me too. I miss my friends at Stone Creek, both in Fishers and also the one over there in Zionsville. Absolutely. So miss that. And the lounge, 1933 Lounge in Fishers District. I have not been there yet, Pam. We've got to check that out on my next trip back home. Isn't that interesting? The places that we miss and what we miss. It's not. It brings home the important message that in many cases, what people are buying from us is not the product, right? I mean, it's not that we miss the vodka. It's not that we miss the filet. It's that we miss the experience of connecting and being in that environment. And so when we look at hotels or meetings or what you do, how do you recreate that experience of talking with each other and being with each other when we're going to have a bunch of differences? So in what Shep Hyken sent this morning, it's talking about what's different. For example, hotels. If you arrive by car, for example, many of hotels are going to get rid of valet parking. Because you're not going to want anybody else touching your car or anybody else driving your car. And they don't want to expose the valet workers to steering wheels and everything else. So Hotel Crescent Court in Dallas, great hotel I've stayed in and spoken in, they're getting rid of valet parking because you're not going to want anybody to carry your car. Camelback Resort in the Poconos, not the one in Arizona, but Camelback Resort in the Poconos are getting rid of bellhops. They're getting rid of the people to carry your bags. They will have sanitized bell carts in the lobby, but no one's going to carry your bags for you now at this resort. And the hotel employees are not going to be opening the door of your car or the door of your taxi when you pull up like they used to. Which, by the way, everybody has their pet peeves. That's my pet peeve. When I pull into a hotel and I'm in my car and the guy comes and opens up my door, they should wait until I'm ready to get out of the car and I'm ready to open the door. I hate pulling up, and I'm disconnecting my phone and I'm, moving things around in the car and I've got this guy pulling on my car door to open it up. Pet peeve. One of those things that makes you wonder, do we look at it from our perspective? Oh, let's be prompt. Let's serve them. Let's open the door. Or the customer's perspective. Hey, man, I've just driven 300 miles. Give me a minute. Just kind of get things organized and get ready. I'll open the door when I'm ready to get out of the car. But they're going to get rid of valet parking. They're going to get rid of bellhops carrying your baggage to the room. Here's another thing they're talking about getting rid of. So you walk in and there won't be all the doors that have handles will be locked. The only doors that will be working are the ones with the motion detection that open up so you don't have to touch anything. So you go in the lobby, and in many hotel lobbies now, they're getting rid of the furniture. Seriously. They're going to get rid of the furniture because they don't want you congregating. They don't want you sitting around in the lobby. They don't want people getting together and having a chat in the lobby. They want you to maintain social distancing. So to do that, they're going to get rid of the furniture in the hotel lobbies. No welcome drink. Of course, if you just stay where they leave the light on for you, I guess you don't have to worry about that. But they're getting rid of that. So now you get in the lobby and they're going to do everything they can to make certain that you never see or talk to anybody. Many of the hotels, I've got the program here on mine with Marriott, but you can do a digital key on your phone. Well, Hilton is doing that. Marriott has been doing that. They're going to find that at more and more hotels. You won't even get a room key. You use your phone to get in the hotel room because they don't want you seeing or talking. They'll try to have it so you will check in at the hotel and not talk to anybody. You won't even use your credit card. They're going to, now more than ever, stuff like Apple Pay is going to be, because all you got to do is hold your phone up to it. And nothing has to be touched. So you'll go in and hold your phone up, and boom, it's going to click and let you. It'll spit out a key that nobody touches. And even if you have to go to the front desk, now they're probably going to be standing behind this plexiglass partition wearing a mask and gloves. Wearing a mask and gloves behind a partition. Welcome to your hotel. They're going to upgrade the cleaning on everything. I see that in a way that's always bothered me when they talk about how they're upgrading the cleaning, because how bad was it, before this happened? Did you get all these emails from restaurants before everything shut down telling you all the things they were doing to make the restaurant cleaner? And did you have the same reaction, which was, why weren't you already doing that? I mean, is there any place that's more important for cleanliness than a restaurant? It's crazy. Yeah, Mike, a great bourbon bar there. I got to check that out. That's terrific. Hey, Patricia, great to see you. Glad you're here. Eye contact relays and conveys a lot about us and our friendly. Yes, and of course, with the mask, at least we can still make eye contact, right? But when you're removing all those touch points with people, you're doing exactly what you're talking about here. You're removing all of the ways that we can connect with our customers. Hey, Tim, great to see you. Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen to the hotel treats? Well, how is DoubleTree going to get you that chocolate chip cookie? What is that? What happens there? Ron, yeah. Oh, what a great comment, Ron. Ron says, I'll miss a handshake. You can tell that about a person by their handshake. The elbow bump doesn't thrill me. Yeah, there is. It makes you kind of wonder, is some of this in our DNA? For so many centuries, human beings, that was a connection when you would shake hands. Think of all that implies too. When a deal was done, you'd shake on it. You get a new dog. You teach the dog to sit, to let down, come and shake, right? It's one of the things we teach that connects us with our pups. I mean, it's such a connection, and to lose that is really, really challenging. Yeah, Jeff, it's something, isn't it? And we can't do our business in a bubble. Bruce, I love this. Will it work with my flip phone? I don't know, man. You and Andrew Luck are the two people that I know that are still using flip phones. So I don't know. Maybe if you punch in the right code, it'll work. Rayanne, great to see you. Yes, the hugs. The hugs are what we miss. That connectivity. At the National Speakers Association, it's well known for all the hugs that speakers connect and give to each other. And even if we have our meeting this year, which hasn't been decided yet, but even if we have our convention this year, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And Tim, yeah, isn't it interesting? In some cases, the hug is safer than the handshake. Just that hug. That's the thing. Tommy Bahama, any garment handled by a guest is steamed and sanitized before returning to shelves. Doubtful they'll appreciate indecisive shoppers. Oh my gosh, I'm not this way, but I you see them when you shop. Those people that have to pick up and just feel everything. Oh my gosh, if they're going to steam it before they get out. That's just crazy. Pam, I never thought about that. That's a great point. Maybe that is why DoubleTree finally published the chocolate chip cookie recipe. I wonder. That's a great question. One of the groups that this is really impacting as it comes to hotels, Ritz-Carlton, whether you stayed there or not, it's a story that's used a lot. Is that, for example, if you say, if you stop somebody at Ritz-Carlton and say, excuse me, I'm trying to find the men's room, they will always go, my pleasure. And they want to show you. They want to walk you there. Well, now with social distancing, they can no longer escort you to or show you around your room. Elevators at the hotel are going to be limited to just the people in your party. So you can't get on an elevator with a bunch of people. So think about that. Once you get in the room, it's going to look bare because the items that are difficult to disinfect are going to be taken out of the room. Things like decorative pillows, bed scarves, notepads, pamphlets, pens, mini bars are going to be gone. Crazy. Just amazing. The amenity, though, that they'll have for you in the room is going to change, because the amenity is going to be things like hand sanitizer, masks, and disinfectant wipes. The remote control for your television in a hotel room is now going to be sealed, and you're going to have to break the seal to reach in, because it's a way to show you through this preventative sleeve that your remote control has been disinfected. How about that? Oh, they're also going to encourage housekeepers to be more visible in the hallways, because that will reemphasize with us that the hotel is clean. And they're going to have crews of housekeepers that are doing nothing but going up and down in the hallways with disinfectant wipes on door handles and light switches and thermostats and things like that. They're going to give us, in some hotels, they're going to give us our own bag to put the towels that we use in that bag. And then we put the bag out in the hallway. And then housekeeping will put a sealed bag with fresh towels in the hallway. Go from there. The Westin in Houston has already deployed robots to disinfect guest rooms and communal areas. They use UV light to zap bacteria and virus and fungus, and they've already been shown to destroy coronavirus. Wow. Yeah. And yeah, Rand, and the public restrooms are probably the most germ laden, absolutely. And they're saying in many cases the hotels are just going to lock them up. Just going to lock them up. There will not be public restrooms at the hotel. So and that would be great too, Patricia, if we could make all of that voice activated. You know, I'm afraid to say Alexa right now, because that'll click in. So with all these changes, what in the world does it mean to us? I mean, if you're a traveler, this is going to be a whole different thing. And, you know, as my friends and I were sending around emails this morning, it kind of makes you go, gosh, do I ever want to go to a hotel again? Do I ever want to get on a plane again? Some of you here have participated in our Ultimate Business Summit program, UBS, that we have in Vegas in August every year. And we are going to decide by June 1 whether it's going to be a in-person event, a virtual event, a hybrid, you know, come if you want. If not, watch it virtually. We're going to be working on that and get that. June 1 is kind of our self-imposed deadline date to decide that. But, you know, you read this and you think about this and you think, holy cow, is this? Okay, so that's why it is so important that we reach out. For example, if I was running a hotel, I would have my person at the front desk who said they're wearing gloves, they're wearing a mask, and they're behind a plexiglass window, right? So I would have, like, every 30 minutes, that desk person step out, you know, go into a room, where they can, where it's safe, pull out their phone and shoot a little video message saying, hey, while I had to wear the mask to welcome you to the hotel, please know for me personally how much we appreciate you traveling during this challenging time and how much we appreciate your business. Boom. And send it back to them. Use video as a way to connect. What we have to do is to understand, and in the book I've got coming out in August, it's on the ultimate customer experience. One of the things is it changes. It changes based on the customer, and it changes based on the time. Now, there are certain standards that apply no matter what, right? I mean, being connected to the customer, being friendly, making a great impression on the customer, that never changes. But how we do it has changed. So what you and I have to be doing is searching for innovative ways that we can connect more effectively with family members, and we can do it with colleagues at work. And as we're working remotely, how do we do that? All of this is going to be new, but yet the fundamentals aren't going to change. Fundamentals don't change. As Jim Rohn said, you wouldn't trust somebody that said, I'm selling you some new antiques. They don't make new antiques. Fundamentals are fundamentals because they've been around for a long time. And so we got to get back to those basics. The how we do it is changing. But what we do and why we do it should never change. It should always be the same. It should always be there. It's who we are and what we do. Rand says, the win in Vegas, all Alexa, all the time. I can't believe there wasn't a response there. Because Rand, I've been on here and I've said something that sounds like that word, and all of a sudden, things are going off here. But yeah, my friends at the Fairmont in Scottsdale, the Fairmont Princess, are the same way. And as kind of a joke, they set it up for. I'm sure they've changed it, but as a joke, because I've done so much work with them, you could say, Alexa, who's the best speaker in the world, and it would say the best professional speaker in the world is Scott McKay. And they wonder why I'm loyal, right? I mean, that's such a fun thing to do. Bruce, last time I was in a hotel room, there was a piece of sanitized plastic over the remote. There you go. Oh man, this will show my age. But in some, when my family would go on vacation, we didn't have a ton of money, so we're staying at Holiday Inn was an extravagance for us. But I remember the first time as a kid we ever checked at a Holiday Inn, and there was a paper sleeve around the toilet, and it said "sanitized for your protection." And I don't know why, but as a kid, I don't know, I must have been 8, 9 years old. As a kid, it made such a big impression on me. Ooh, it was sanitized for my protection, that toilet. For some reason that struck me. I'm thinking now that paper strip's going to go over the bed, right? Sanitized, or it's going to be on the door. It'd be something completely different. But it's amazing. Hey, Laura, gosh, that was taken almost out of your playbook. What a good grief. Hey, it's great to see. By the way, go back in the archives. It's on YouTube and here. And the interview that I did with Laura is just super awesome. So you've got to check it out with what her incredible book, Limitless. And I had a chance to interview Laura here on this program, and you need to check that out. It's one of the best shows that we've done here. Sherry says we've been touching things for years. They say drinking out of the hose will kill you. I drank a whole childhood. How many payphones? Oh yeah, it's so true. But that's part of what I was having an interesting conversation with our doctor about this the other day. Is like part of what we've done is to protect people so much that we're not building up the immunity as young people that we did before. And there's some thinking, I'm not a doctor, I'm just saying what the doctor said to me. So don't, but there is a theory that that's part of why we see more peanut allergies than we've seen before, other allergies that are more prevalent than they've ever been, is because in the early days, our kids aren't building the immunity because they're not getting out and playing in the dirt, and they're not building up this natural immunity that happens early on. So it's really, really interesting. Hey, Phil, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And Rand, you're right. Many of these changes are long overdue. I mean, there are some things that needed in terms of how we deal with each other and how I agree. And I think part of what the resistance is not that some of these changes weren't needed, but how dramatically and how rapidly they have been, and in terms of the quantity of the number of changes that have been thrust upon us, for which we are ill prepared. So it's an incredibly challenging time. Hey, Sonia, it's great to see you. Thank you for saying it. Oh, now you see we both get it from the same source. So that's all good. A few years ago, they took swabs in the New York subway. There were elements they couldn't identify. Oh my gosh. They couldn't even identify them. They were so, that is so wild. That is so amazing. What was it that I read? I'll look this up because I hate to shoot this off the cuff, but I read something about when they looked, they examined things, and the dirtiest part of your bathroom wasn't even the toilet seat. It was, the handles on your bathroom faucet. But you think about it, right? You go to wash your hands are dirty. You want to wash your hands, but before you do that, you touch the handle, and it was just kind of interesting how it was so different from what they thought. Hey, Mark, great to see you. Thank you for being here. Well, so what we want to talk about today is, look, the world is changing. Gosh, thank you, Captain Obvious. We understand that. But because of these changes, the basics don't change. What's important never changes. And so even if we have to wear a mask or gloves or a plexiglass shield in front of us, we still have to make personal connections. We still have to find ways in our respective businesses to do that. So the challenge for you and the challenge for me is going to be, how do we connect more than we ever have before? How do we reach out virtually in ways that maybe we didn't before, and make it more personal? I was on the coaching call this morning, and one of the things that was really interesting was the woman that was on the call was talking about, gosh, she said, I can't believe, we used to send out a thank you note to everybody, and I would sign the thank you note. But she said, when I started handwriting them, all of a sudden everybody started commenting about them. Well, yeah, because it's personal. And the more personal we can make it, the greater the likelihood is it will be remembered and make the kind of impression that you and I sincerely want to deliver. Well, that's all for today for Daily Distinction. I really appreciate you being here. Hey, don't forget, you can go to distinctionnation.com, get that 14-day audio program that Phil was mentioning that he just completed. It's absolutely free. You can download it. You just listen to a chapter every day for the next 2 weeks. You end up with your distinction plan for the future. It's all there and it's available for you. There's ebooks, more supporting material, all there for you, absolutely free on Distinction Nation. I will look forward to joining you once again tomorrow when we get back together for our next episode of Daily Distinction. So until then, have a great day. I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow right here.